Well, good evening everybody then, and welcome along last, as promised, to the Endurance Series Let's Play that I'm going to be doing in stream form. Just because I think the races are too long to do it as a normal Let's Play, and it gives me an opportunity to play Motorsport Manager whilst you guys help me along. So, I've decided to go for what is... Well, first off, we're going to be playing the Fire mod. They've just released a... update for the mod that includes the Endurance DLC that's just been released. So we have the Endurance class with all the official drivers, cars and sponsors. I mean, they already had sort of an LMP1 class anyway in the original Fire mod. This is just obviously transferring everything over to the actual DLC. So I've decided to go for LMP1. Due to how long these races are going to take, it's probably only going to be one race per stream, maybe two on evenings that I feel like doing a bit more. So I don't really want to have to work all the way up from the bottom in this. So we're going to start in LMP1. We're going to be taking on the Manor Racing team. Yep, Manor do still exist, everybody. Just because they didn't make it in F1. That was just the F1 arm that failed. They've been an actual sports car team since the 90s, early 90s. So they're still going. They're kind of a customer LMP1 car. But there's quite a big gap to the two major manufacturers, obviously, which are Toyota and Porsche. So we'll be racing the rest of the LMP1 teams, trying to get best of the rest, hopefully this season. And then we'll see how big a gap there is to Toyota and Porsche as to whether we can actually realistically close that down. But let's just get underway, shall we, and get started. So we've got all the new good stuff in this, just like the Haas career mode that I started yesterday. So we've got a few introductions from our drivers. We'll go through our drivers in a little bit. Brakes seem to be a priority according to our designers. So we got a report on all our drivers. 7th and 8th is where we're predicted to be with our two sets of drivers. And we need to decide on a target. Now, if that had said 3rd, I might have gone for it. I'm definitely not going to aim for 4th. For 2nd, sorry. Purely because the two big manufacturers in this are Porsche and Toyota. And they start so far above everybody else that there's really no point in us trying to challenge them in Season 1. So 4th I'm happy with. That'll be the 2nd best of the sort of customer LMP1 cars. So hopefully we can achieve that over the course of the season anyway. And little Jean Todt there, little ex-Ferrari chief, just letting us know about the energy. The same as when we tried it the other day, so no problems there. And we can move on to the car then. So first race is in 16 days. Reliability is looking pretty good. From the first race we did in the sort of first look of this DLC, reliability didn't really seem a problem. So we'll try and improve it a little bit anyway. We haven't got much in terms of an HQ, unfortunately. We're still waiting for a lot of sponsors to come in, so it's only really one thing we can improve. So I'm going to improve the reliability of the engine and the performance of the brakes. Now, these parts are going to cost a lot to upgrade in an MP1, so we need some sponsors really. We only have 300,000 in the bank. At the moment we're making $1 million per race. So that will give us some parts later down the line. But once we get some new sponsors, we should be able to start putting lots of new parts on the car. So let's take a look at the drivers we've got available to us then. So Hirschke, Tor Graves, Jean-Eric Verne, of course, probably the only one that I actually properly know, Simon Trummer, Roberto Gonzalez and David Zollinger. So all okay drivers. Looks like Trummer's the pick of the bunch, and they seem to be pretty level, the two teams, which is good. Tallgrave's a little bit older than the rest. Stamina pretty good for most of them. And how much are we paying them then? So $250,000, 144,000. $250,000, 200,000, 2.5, and 177. I don't know why their potentials are so high. They all apparently have 5-star potential, which doesn't seem right to me. But anyway, we're going to keep the drivers as it is. We're just going to see how they do for the first few races. I'm sure they all have pretty long contracts anyway. 34 months, 46 months, 34 months, 22, 22, 22. Yeah. So we'll keep them for the moment. And then towards the end of the season, if we feel we need to change them, we will change them. Right. Introduction to the endurance, which we already know. And yeah, so pit crew. I will bring on board some guys with 0 mistake chance. Let's bring in someone with a lot of stamina, 0 mistake chance, and fairly good stats. Just for now. And we'll put Beyond on. I don't know what she's really better at. Actually, I don't know that we actually needed her. We've got good tyre guys. A little bit better on the front jacks. We will swap her with walls. And tyres, we don't really have anyone better. Front jack, no one better. Rear jack. It's all actually set up properly. Refuel is actually... So it's the 2 rear guys, so those 2. But they've also got to be good at tyres. So it's actually set up right, so there's not much we really need to do. Finances were okay. Sponsors were waiting for quite a few. So I think we're pretty much ready to... Actually, we'll take a look at the staff as well. So it was actually probably the highest point of our team. So we got good designers, good race mechanics. I'm a little bit worried about why every single person I'm looking at has got maximum potential available. I'm wondering if that's a bug of the mod. Hopefully that won't affect us too badly. But let's get moving then, shall we? And get onwards towards the first race. So I'm hoping we can challenge for that 3rd place behind the 2 big manufacturers. Sort of mixed opinion of us, that's understandable. Doesn't matter what job you take, it's always mixed. So yeah, just for comparison, our bars here, Volantia about where that little arrow is, Porsche and Toyota are right up the top. So we're going to be it's going to be very, very tricky to get anywhere near them, especially in the first season. So if we can beat, you know, Rebellion, Signatech, and Bicoles, then we should be okay. But it's still a lot to get used to in this DLC. It requires much different strategy. It really does. Rumours about Zonja. Suspicious about media reports. Oh, he's lost a lot of morale there. Not much we can do. Bloody media. A bit concerned about the performance of our car. Well, alright. We haven't done a race yet, mate. Let me sort it out, yeah? Been in the job like 13 days. Number of transactions, leave it alone. Leave me alone, I know what I'm doing, Frodo. Okay. Bows are looking like the best option then. For 4 races, 1.8 million. We'll take that for sure. Evening. I might check it out later, Han. You generally ask permission before you start trying to advertise your channel in people's chats, but I will I'll open your YouTube page and have a look later. And Even Fox, how you doing, my friend? We're starting. It's the endurance series. Is that the fucking Majesty's government? Pims? What symbol is that? That's an American symbol. You any idea, Fox? Because it says their home race is in America. It's alright, Han. No worries. No worries. I will. I'm always interested in people that play Motorsport Manager. I'll take a look a little bit later. So, in the meantime, I hope you enjoy the stream. Right, so that's nailed down for a lot longer. 7th or above. 8th or above DC, 334,000. But it's a lot shorter contract. I think we'll go to Tata Communications. 7th or above, it's not too long a contract. And I think we should be able to get 7th on a regular basis. I don't know what the name of the company is, that's the problem. It's just that symbol, like Her Majesty's Government with P and M on it. Didn't actually say the name of the sponsor. But it had the Royal Crown, which you're not allowed in America. That's our thing. Right, if we're going for 7th or above, we can't select 2 sponsors that have a fixed position. So there's no point going for 7th or above with another sponsor because we can't select both. We may as well take Telstra for the moment and just take that 660,000 per race until we hopefully get some better sponsors later on. Facebook, I know them. You need to hold out for bigger Tartars. Always hold out. This is the best we got at the moment, I'm afraid. Evening, by the way, Greg Bros. Welcome along. Again, 7th or above. Why are all these 7th or above? We can't select them all at the same time. So, I'm going to take on Capri Sun. I like a bit of Capri Sun. I haven't had one since I was about 10, but sure, we'll have Capri Sun on the side. Where have they gone on the car? That's a good camera angle. I bet they're really happy for the money they paid. Where the hell are they? They haven't gone on the car at all. They're just paying us general sponsors. Okay. That's at least some money in the bank. So I feel confident now at least. That should have improved our situation. Yeah, nearly 2 million a race now. So that's good. So let's get some brakes on the car. They are our weak point at the moment. Tyre wear efficiency. So this must be a new bonus for the or part stat for endurance. I guess that would be helpful. Well, you generally run out of fuel before you run out of tyres, from what I've seen. I'm just going to go for standard, just deceleration. You know, better brakes that are better at braking. It's generally what they're good for. Don't sell out to Mark Zuckerberg. Never. Never. Because we don't use Facebook, do we? I guarantee you do. But they're going to have to pay us more than that to get their dirty sponsorship on our car. I've got one more offer. It was a good joke. Used to work for DHL. What, as a driver or in the factory or what? One of the better delivery companies in the UK, to be fair. Inside the wheel well for Capri Sun. Is it a rim sponsor? I can't see it. That's a really shit sponsor for nearly $500,000 per race if it's on the wheel well. Maybe it's just a bug with this mod. Right, we'll probably get a couple more offers in that slot, so we'll just let it run for a couple of days. Oh, we're ready. Okay, we'll go for Task Communications, then 7th or above. I think we can achieve that. It's going to be wet all the way through. So straight away we got a difference in what kind of weather conditions we're going to have. And this is where I think endurance is going to be even more interesting if it changes all the way through the race. So I'm just going to go for my normal mix of 663. Should be good. I don't think we got those brakes done in time, did we? No. So we got 5% added to the engine and a few points added to the brakes. And we're ready to go then. Race weekend number 1 in the UK. Just skipping ahead a little bit there. No point in softs. Really? I have found them quite useful at times. Obviously, you need some for qualifying, and some of the fuel loads don't last long enough for mediums. If that's the case, though, I'll knock the softs down next race. No point in more than 2 sets. Okay, I don't think we're going to run out of tyres, but if we do look like we're going to, then that might be a good call for next time round. This is LMP1, by the way, Fox. Never use Facebook, deletes account secretly. You can hide it, it's okay. No clue what the company was, maybe Royal Crown Soda, but the PM doesn't make sense. Maybe. I don't know what it was, to be fair. It's got to be on a racing car somewhere if they use it in this mod. That's generally the point. Right, so driver preference setup. Expected form. Right, so these guys have got a bit better form. I don't quite understand how this works. But so if we go there, it should set it up for those 2 drivers. As far as I'm aware, we'll try it with that car. This one I'm going to try going just purely for 1 driver. I'm going maximum towards him. Anyone got any pointers on this that have played for a bit more than I have? So I'm not entirely sure. I thought I'd got this right, but when I used it last time, when you got in between the 2 drivers, it gave both a bonus. Now it's only giving 1. Yet to get it. Okay, no worries. Let's if it works how I think it is, that should be both those 2 drivers that are preferences. So we'll go with that for now. Right, in which case Hirishki is the one we're setting it up for, so we need to get him out of the car first. And we'll go out. I want to set super softs if we don't need too many of them. Is it going to... It's not wet just yet. And we'll set Trummer out on a set of softs just to split it, I guess. Actually, no, we don't want Trummer in the car, do we? We want one of these 2 nutcases. David Zollinger, out you go, my friend. No idea who you are, but you look vaguely familiar. So you can take the car out. Yeah, so this is what I've said before, Fox, about... let's just get them out quickly. Race trim, 4 laps. There we go. Race trim, 4 laps. There we go. So when you put your reserve in the normal game, surely that car would then be set up for that driver. So putting the normal driver in and him using the same setup to the same level just seems strange to me. This is how it should be. In endurance, you've got to have a car that, you know, all 3 drivers are happy with, because there's very little you can change on the car during a 1-minute pit stop. So, apart from driving position and a few sort of differential settings, maybe. I'm not entirely sure how this system works, but I think it's just you decide which driver you're setting the car up for, and then the percentage, no matter who you've got in the car, the percentage will be based on the driver you've set the preference to. As far as I know, a little bit of research might be needed to know further. Alright, we lost a lap there. We should have brought the 2 in, but It's my fault. Let's just get them round. I much prefer longer practice sessions, but we're not going to, you know, enjoy every moment of it when we've got like a 3-hour race coming up. Right, it's a pretty poor setup to begin with them. Hishki is not happy. Hishki says no. So let's go that way. Let's go that way. Let's go a little bit that way. Right, let's send someone out. Let's put Jean-Eric in the car, shall we? So this is another thing I've thought about the form thing. I do wonder what the point of putting different drivers in practice is. It's mostly just to get their form increased. Because the more time on track they have, generally the better their form can potentially get. It can get worse. So that's really the main reason you want to give everybody a chance in practice. Right, we'll just try those 2 directions. See how much difference that makes. Keep the same tyres on, and we will put Gonzalez in the car. Out you go, my boy. I would guess if the rules are set up that 2 drivers can do 80% of the race, you could set the car up to focus on your best 2 drivers to get small bonus. Yeah, that's a good point. Or you go the other way, you go maximum on one drive. Actually no, because qualifying is an average of 2, you would use that same principle you just said there to concentrate on your 2 drivers for qualifying as well. Of course, as we know, qualifying not really massively important in endurance, but yeah, there's a lot of ways you can spin it. You just have one driver that you use for short stints or aggressive stints who the car is set up for. So I don't know, because this mod came out so quick, or the update for this mod came out so quickly after the endurance, whether these are the models they were using originally for the ice mod, or whether these are adapted versions of the endurance models. They look pretty good though. They look pretty accurate. No, that's a bit better. So we probably want to go a bit that way on speed balance. If not, we can always go back the other way, and probably a bit more understeery with the handling. Downforce looking pretty okay. Okay, let's stick old Graves here. I was reading up a bit about, well, I was reading up about Manor. Gravesy's been with the Manor team for so long, like almost a decade, I think, from what I was reading. That might be incorrect. He's been with them for a while anyway. The Manor Racing team also have a teapot that has that they've kept since 1990, like an old metal stove teapot that they serve the engineers and the drivers alike tea in. Good to know, I guess, if you like those kind of useless, pointless facts. I do. Alright, so both say good, so theory would say we should be somewhere in the middle. Whether it actually is, it might be the other way still. Let's try a little bit more understeer. We've got plenty of time. Downforce looks good. Let's give Trauma his first stint in the car, and because the setup's already pretty good, there's rain coming as well, I think I'm just going to leave him out there to try and get as much knowledge on those soft tyres as he can. And same with Vern, we'll probably leave him out until the rain comes, just to get that practice in and get those knowledge slots active. Evening Leaf, welcome buddy. How are you doing this Wednesday evening? Welcome along to the endurance cars. We need to try and stay awake for the entire race on this one. Hopefully we can play the strategy a little bit better than we did last time. Weird way to describe something you like on your honeymoon. You're just weird, pointless, and completely useless, but I like you. Where did what hey? Where did that come from, Fox? On your honeymoon means you're on your honeymoon. Well, there's the honeymoon period, which is after you join something like a job or a team. I think maybe wrong chat, Greg. I think you might be right. Oh, I described the facts as weird, pointless, but you like them. Yeah. I'm not ashamed to say I like weird and pointless stuff. That's what fills in the little gaps of exciting stuff, isn't it? If it's just everything was exciting, it wouldn't be exciting anymore. You've got to have the weird, pointless and boring stuff in between to make the exciting stuff even more exciting. I don't know what the honeymoon was about though. Weird way to describe something you like. I was imagining saying that to something else you like. What, saying your honeymoon is weird, pointless and boring? Guys, I think there'd be one very unhappy person on that honeymoon if you said that though. Right, much better setup. Let's try tweaking the downforce a little bit. Just see what that does. That rain is on its way, so we may as well send him out to finish that race stint. And I should put intermediates on. We'll just leave him out there for a little bit. Tram's still out there. Times not too bad. So we're ahead of the Rebellion team at the moment on sort of basic time. And of course you got two Porsches and the two Toyotas right up the top. And they've got quite a big margin over the rest of us, even on the medium tyres, which is ominous. Glad you're doing well. Shame you can't stay long, but hey look, it's good you're here. And you can always catch up on the VOD. These will be going up as normal VODs anyway. But work until Friday morning. That's a long old work, mate. Take it easy. If you can. 94. Good. Great. So we can probably go a little bit further on the understeer that way. Let's just make small changes and see how it goes. Let's pretty much almost maxed out the race trim. The other car will take care of that, so we'll do some qualifying runs on intermediates for Solinger. I choose you, Mr. Solinger. If you've answered this before, I apologise, but what are your thoughts on the new updates? No, not really answered it. I did a first look on it and got some opinions. I think I need to play for a full season to know. I think it adds a lot deeper level of strategy. That's why I've always wanted the endurance DLC. Just it's a completely different type of racing. When you consider, say, the GT DLC, the challenges were very strange in my opinion. I enjoyed them more than I thought, but it wasn't really a new form of motorsport, which I think they should be striving to continue to add. And I think they should redo the parts system, but that's another thing altogether. The problem with GT is it was too similar. They were different types of cars, but they weren't quite as exciting as the single-seaters. A little bit shorter races, a little bit slower. Not really different enough. The thing with this is you're managing the cars to try and get all the way through the race on the right fuel, tyres for the weather conditions, repairs, and 3 drivers you're managing. That's the big difference here, is managing the different driver elements. And it's just going to be a lot more difficult to master, I think. So yeah, I'm really enjoying it. I'm just not really far enough into playing about with it to have a rating or anything, but it's definitely the best DLC they've done. And I think this is the direction they should go. Different types of motorsport, or different, just increasing the level of strategy. I really do think it's a great little update. And pretty reasonably priced as well, to be fair. £6 for this kind of thing if you're already really into the game and you're still playing it regularly. Whether it's enough to draw people back that haven't played it, I don't know. And a few people have mentioned as well, which the more I think about it, I do agree with. They could really have added GT cars to this, made it free tier, like the actual endurance racing. But you can't have everything, and it'd probably be a nightmare to code. Still pretty well out there. Put Zollinger out again. Why not? So actually, no, I don't want to bring you in, buddy. You stay out there. You're doing a good job. Stay out there. So, it's turning very accurate Freudian slip. Look, it's late in the evening. I've had a hard day at work, Fox. Don't make me think too hard. It's certainly not having another fucking Schrodinger's cat discussion. That's for sure. That was a nightmare, that one. I did the Tigers achievement, so an eternity is what these races feel like. I bet. Congrats, though. In a good way. From ICB to IEC. Are they the bottom tier team? Not the bottom tier, the bottom. Are they a low team or a mid team? But that's still some achievement. To get through that already as well, you must have been playing a lot. To be fair, I'd probably get through this a lot quicker if I didn't record every single race that I play on this game. I never play it by myself anymore. It wasn't you, Jay. It was Luke tonight. No, I know it wasn't me. I know you commented on him, but I don't want to analyse why it's a Freudian slip. I'm not very intelligent, okay? Yeah, they are. Oh, okay. That's quite something, though. You have to do a tutorial or something for me. So I'm going to need it. Right, car looking okay then. Obviously those front 4 ominously quick on the medium tyres. They're still almost a second ahead of us. But we seem to have good pace compared to Rebellion and Signatech. It's going to be close between those 3 cars, I think. And then of course you got the LMP2 cars as well. Jackie Chan Racing, who of course nearly won Le Mans this year in my favourite racing story of the year. I always watch as much Le Mans as I can. I was glued to it the early hours of the morning this year, thinking they could do this. Jackie Chan Racing could win Le Mans. And then I think it was the last hour, or like the last 40 minutes, they got overtaken. Okay. So I swear I could see the stats before on this screen. I think a lot was is a little bit bugged out with this mod. So when we played Endurance before, you could hover over and see each driver's stats. I don't really know who I want to put in the car for qualifying. I guess Hiroshi is probably our main driver, and Simon Trommer. Yeah, let's go with our 2 best drivers to begin with. And Zollinger And go for old Gravesy, the old hand. Risky. Didn't preference anyone. Okay, right. Let's get on with it, shall we? Super softs and intermediates just in case they come. Thought we got qualifying race trim, but apparently not. Oh well. And setups, we ended up on 95. And 95. They'll do. Let's just get them out there for the first session of the year, shall we? Guys, firing in the comments. I'm having to scroll back up. Looks like it's going to be dry later in the session. Let's just stick them out on intermediates anyway for a run, just to get that time in the bag. Where are we? Feel like Stranger's cat will make a reappearance, but Rage isn't there. Please don't. I don't want that discussion again. I was just joking and everyone took it so seriously. Due to my work schedule, I have some free time to play. Lucky man. But obviously you're working pretty hard now, so you've got to take those moments when you can. I was the same before I started. I play a lot less games now I've started this little hobby of YouTube, because I tend to, it takes a lot more out of you. Oops. Also, try my, there we go, my friend. It takes a lot more out of you recording it. I end up watching TV or movies a lot more in my spare time. So whether it's a good thing or not, I don't know. But I enjoy doing this and chatting with you guys, so it makes it worth it. Was a driver for DHL. Oh, how many were? Yeah. I don't know how I feel about being a courier. It'd be, I enjoy it because I enjoy driving, even if it is just a van. I enjoy getting out and about rather than being stuck in an office. But I don't know, after a while, I feel it would the stress of it. A lot of the couriers that drop stuff off at my work are incredibly stressed out a lot of the time. Just saw a documentary about 2015 Le Mans on Amazon, the one Hulkenberg one. That was incredible. I don't think Hulkenberg. I hope Hulkenberg appreciates how lucky he was to just step into that team and win Le Mans first time in Varsky. Also a great achievement, to be fair. But I keep seeing them on Amazon. I want to watch them soon. Do you reckon they will somehow beat Toyota next year? We've only got Toyota. Is it Porsche or Toyota that pulled out? One of them pulled out. There's only going to be one top team next year, 2018, and they're bringing in a new fleet of LMP1 cars that are sort of customer cars. They're like a prototype model that teams can buy to step up to LMP1 or something like that. But it's one of Porsche or Toyota who pulled out, yeah. So it's just Toyota. So if they don't win it next year, something's gone incredibly wrong. Alright, two guys coming back to the pits. First times then, 13.7, 13.8. It's gonna dry out though. Now this is where it gets tricky, because we've got to get an average lap time. And if you've got one drive that's done an average lap time on wet tyres, one that's done them on dry, that's not going to be a very good average lap time. So I think we'll wait a little bit, wait till it dries out, so we can get both drivers doing times on the super softs. Manor Racing is everything. They focused on Webber the whole time, but he came second. It's always the way when they follow things for those kind of documentaries, isn't it? Yeah, I keep meaning to watch that, because I know that it's watching Webber, and it's a type of motorsport like nothing else. Le Mans, even in the world of endurance, it's just a complete class of one. I know there are other 24-hour races, but that track is so demanding in the events. So demanding. Right. You should have plenty of time to do 2 runs, as long as it doesn't rain again. There's Brendan Hartley. That's why he's not in the Tour, Rosso. You guys are quite right. Doesn't look like there's any more rain coming, so we can just afford for it just to let it dry properly. In fact, I can probably use this part, which I should be using a lot more, to be fair. Right, let's send them out again. All on the super softs. And then we'll switch drivers and send them out for another run as well. So Toyota is staying put, but their reliability has been quite Honda-esque this year. Also heard rumours that Alonso was at Toyota for seat fitting. Imagine watching Alonso in Le Mans. It's incredibly likely. There's many points there. Toyota first. Alonso doing Daytona is almost certainly him warming up for Le Mans. And I'm pretty sure he'll do it next year because it doesn't clash next year. And the one thing he regretted with Indy was not having enough preparation. So it's the perfect preparation for Le Mans. It's also the best chance Alonso is going to get of winning Le Mans. You've got two Toyota cars at the front. Their reliability's been bad, sure, but they will dial it down when Porsche aren't in it. Remember, the whole of next season, if they're the only major manufacturer, and I'm pretty sure these sort of customer cars they're bringing in are going to be nowhere near in terms of speed. They'll be much quicker than anything else we've got at the moment, apart from the major manufacturers, but they still won't beat them outright. But if Toyota are in a complete class of one, they'll turn the engines down, they'll make sure everything is running smoothly. I don't think reliability will be an issue when they're on their own, and it'll be Alonso's best chance. He's one of only two cars that are likely to win. That's the best odds he's ever going to get to win that. So I think we'll see him in, yeah, I honestly think we'll see him in the Toyota for Le Mans. It makes sense. Right, Hirashiki goes quickest. Trauma putting in a dry lap now. And they improve their times to 11.6 and 11.9. Of course, they are only good enough for 23rd and 24th at the moment, purely because we haven't sent the other drivers out, which we will do now. So we'll get Gravesy in the car, put on a set of super softs, and then we'll switch Trum's car out as well. I'm really interested with Le Mans and endurance racing in general next year as to what these new cars are going to be like that they're bringing in. Because if they're competitive, if they allow sort of independents to come into the sport relatively cheap and be competitive straight away, then honestly I am kind of all for getting rid of the major manufacturers altogether. I know it's not Le Mans without it, but you look at the GT3 class or the GT class and the pure breadth of cars you've got there from manufacturers, they fill that role. I would love to see a standard customer car that any independents can come in and win Le Mans with. If you got rid of Toyota as well, I think that would make it a pretty special race if you had 10 of those fighting at the front. Okay, folks, have a good lesson or good class. Thank you as always for tuning in, my friend, and do let me know what you thought of the race on the board later on. Enjoy the rest of your afternoon, my friend. Okay, so we go up to P1 and P2 then. I'm presuming... No, Lotter's put in his time. In Porsche. So... the time's looking pretty good at the moment. Mind you, Lotter's time was on the intermediates, so he should improve this time round. I would expect all the Porsches and Toyotas to go above us before the end of the session, to be honest. We might just have timed it right, you never know. You never do know. yeah, it would be quite something. Privateer team winning. I think that's the idea. I think they've known for a while that they're going to start losing these major manufacturers, and nobody really feels like they want to come back in, as we drop a long way down the order, actually. That's more like it. So we're right in the middle there with Senna's car and Beckett's car. So that's fairly good qualifying. We beat our objective anyway by getting 6th and 8th. We're splitting the rebellions with Graves' car, and we're a little way above the Alpines and the Bicolors is them. So outright speed looking good. We're now got to do the hardest thing of this whole DLC, and that is manage the cars through 6 hours. You got to run as well. Looking forward to watching the race later on. Okay, Leaf. Thank you for dropping in as always, and I'll speak to you again later, I'm sure. And do leave a comment what you think of the race when you watch it later. But just a quick point on those endurance cars. Then I think they've known the big manufacturers are going to start going for a while, and now it started happening. That's why they had these cars ready to step in. And I just think sort of equal customer cars at the front of Le Mans would just make it just sort of almost an entire LMP2 class, if you like. Would be great to see. Right, I'm going to go for intermediate and race trim, purely because we've got rain on the way. That's what's going to make this incredibly tricky, this race. It's going to take quite a while for the rain to actually start falling though, so we'll start on the super soft tyre. I might start on the soft tyres actually, just in case it takes longer than expected, and of course we'll fuel it to the maximum. Driver to start. Calcifer, evening buddy. How are you doing, my friend? Greg will probably run it at 2 times to begin with, and then probably go up to 4 when we know we've got no strategy calls to make. Between 2 and 4 anyway, so it should take us around about an hour to finish the race. Right. Yeah, I'm happy with Hirschke in the car to begin with. Soft tyres. Right. Let's just get on with it, shall we? Got a long race to run. I'm going to put Gonzalez in. They say you never really want your best drivers in at the beginning of the race because everyone's bunched up and there's not too much time to make up. How true that is, I don't know. We'll put the soft tyres on that car as well. Right. We'll go push and high to begin with. We don't want to put too much strain on the cars. So it's the 2 Toyotas that look out front row, then the 2 Porsches, then the Rebellion, our Manor, another Rebellion, and another Manor. So the race for the 3rd step, well, 3rd team step, should I say. I don't think we'll get on the podium unless there's a problem with the Toyotas or Porsches. So I like this rolling start. We'll let this go in normal speed because it's quite epic having this year and in this DLC. You have to set up to drop out of the higher speed if anything happens. Where's that option then? Is that in the preferences? Or does it just do it automatically? Click on MM and go to settings. I'm on settings. Tone mapping, tilt shift, upper field. Traffic details, decals, expanded camera, dynamic lights, running background. Oh, super speed. Oh, fuck me. I didn't want this. Position lost, position gained. Slow down on all speeds. Okay, I think that's it. I mean, this is a lot to set up. I'll just try and manage it, mate. Is what I'll try and do in Motorsport Manager. Yep, Calcifer, there's fucking tons of them. What am I supposed to do with that? There's enough options in this game already as there is. Don't need that many more. Right, so open yourself a drink for this momentous first race in the Endurance Championship then. That way you can run it at 4x, but if any conditions are met, it will pause. Okay, perfect. I didn't even know that screen was there. Is that something new for the Endurance, or has that always been there? Never noticed it before. Jesus, I said I was going to watch this in real time, but Christ. They want to hurry up and get round, please, guys. Got a plane to catch tomorrow morning. Alright, we're getting underway then. 24 endurance cars in a rolling start. And we're underway. It's a fairly average start. In fact, we've both drivers have lost a couple of positions. We're down to 7th and 9th and 7th and 10th. I presume everybody in the rest of the field is pushing very hard. They are. I want to keep a little bit of fuel and stuff back if we can. Alcohol? No, just a Diet Coke, I'm afraid, tonight. Not drinking tonight. I'd love to, but you've got to have some nights off, haven't you? Is new with this patch. Oh, okay, so it's for the whole game now as well. That's cool. Right, we've got up to 2 speed. Tyre temps coming up to scratch. I'm going to go medium on the tyres. Rain is going to be another 10 minutes or so away. So we'll go back to neutral on the tyres now. And I think we'll just use the boost as a speed up. I don't think there's any point harvesting and saving fuel at this point, because we're not going to be doing 42 laps, because the rain will come a long time before that. So let's use these as boosts to try and get ourselves back up to that pack. Specifically because they didn't expect us to play this at anything under 4x. You know what, if I was just having a lazy Sunday afternoon and was watching a film or something, I'd have it on normal speed in the background, sure. But most people, yeah, you're going to have it pretty high. Right. Talking of that, let's go up to full speed then. And those little boosts have taken us back up to 7th and 9th. So the 2 Toyotas stretching away up the front. 2 Porsches a little further back. And then we've got the 2 Rebellion cars just ahead of us. Which hopefully we can close that gap up a little bit. So all drivers have got to do a minimum of half an hour. They can only do a maximum of 1 hour 12. So that's the other thing we need to manage during this. You know what Bernie says, if you drink, never drive. No, I'm sure he doesn't either. She probably has a driver, to be fair. But no, never drink and drive, kids. Unless it's 1 drink and it's under the limit, in which case sure. But I've tried doing some sim racing, gals, for I've had a few drinks. It's not the greatest result, to be fair. It seems more fun, but it makes me realise why you should never drink and drive. Right, quite a battle going on here between Hirschke and Rail in the other car. I can't remember what car it is. Right, here comes that rain then. And we'll go around one more time. Actually, we should pit early. I think we should wait a little bit longer. Of course, the pit stops are going to take around about a minute. And the lap is not much longer. So it's going to be tricky to get both cars in even one lap apart. So Hirschke is looking okay for another stint. He should be okay then. Tyres we're expecting to do about 43 to 45 laps, so I will put a bit more fuel in. Maybe just 40 laps of fuel. Car's looking okay. No need to recharge batteries, balance pit stop, and he can go back out again. So I was drinking while racing at Monaco last Sunday. I was impressed when you finished. No, never during the league races. I just said I have, you know, got back from the pub and played Sims, and it's not too bad, to be fair. I've had a few drinks. It depends how many drinks I've had. But no, not for the league races. Right, we'll bring in Gonzalez this time round. His stamina's also looking okay, so he can probably do a double stint as well. We may as well, just saves us a bit of time from swapping the driver. Car looking okay, so we can go. Was there any mistakes on that pit stop? Looks okay from Hirschke. And he's the first driver onto the intermediates then. Gonzalez in. Second pit stop for our pit crew. No mistakes please lads. Or now I can fire you, and I will. My Cho, I will fire you, don't you worry. We're coming in a bit early to be fair. We probably could have waited a few more laps to pit, but I know you were. Just thought I'd categorically answer that question just in case. So we are still losing time to first and second, so I think we might have pitted a bit early, unfortunately. But hey, at least we got it done. And rain a lot more incremental in this game mode. I guess the tyres can deal with more on endurance cars. We probably have stopped a bit early. Keep an eye on those times to the Toyotas. We are still losing time, unfortunately. Tyres overheating a little bit. Gonzalez is losing a lot of time behind these LMP2 cars here. We use the boost on both cars to try and get them past. Still nobody has made a stop from the LMP1 cars. That gap is continuing to increase, but that could be because we're hitting some pretty major traffic, so just see how this goes. Thinking about maybe using a little bit of fuel to try and get that gap back down, but there's no point until the inters are quicker. So this is something we need to note then. The crossover seems a lot more gradual with the endurance cars, so we need to make sure we don't pit stupidly early like that again. But we are now catching back up. So a lot of cars in the pits now, pretty much everybody. So where are we going to come back out then? Ooh, Gonzalez up to third. So maybe we weren't too late then. We're up to third and fifth. So that extra time on the intermediates, it might have been too dry at the beginning of that little stint, but towards the end we were good. We were golden. Right, tyres getting too warm now, so we're going to conserve them. So it looks like it's going to be intermediate conditions for quite a while, so these guys can probably just sit back and do their stints, and then that will probably be them done for the weekend, because they would have done around about 40-50 minutes by then. I don't know that we'll need them for another stint. The game actually looks more exciting than I thought it would be. I've only tried the mobile version, which is pretty boring. It depends. If you've obviously got to have a love of motorsport, but you've got to like strategy games as well, because it is a very man management type style game. Something like this, which is the fire mod, which adds all the actual official drivers and teams, because that's not in the base game. Certainly makes it more interesting for an F1 or a motorsport fan. But it is a great game. So you've got to have that love of strategy games as well, I think, as a love of racing. And for people that might like me that like both, it's like a dream come true. Right, those tyres now getting too cold, so we can actually probably push for a little bit. And Hishki is all fired up and ready to go. It's making good progress. So we are behind a Porsche and a Toyota. Kobayashi has dropped back to 9th. And Rossetier is the other one, I think, isn't it? The other. No, it's not. Is it Kenny? Oh, there's the other Porsche just coming up behind us now. So obviously a problem for the number 2 Toyota. But we're keeping distance here as we approach the end of the first half an hour of this race. And the rain will continue to fall. So tyre temps back up. Let's go back to neutral. Let's use our boosts while we can. Again, no real need to save fuel because none of these tyres go far enough to use a full fuel tank, which is a bit of a drawback. It makes the whole harvesting thing seem kind of pointless to me. So the thing we need to judge better than last time, we're a long way from it yet, but we need to judge that final stop to make sure we don't make one more stop on everybody. So these guys are probably going to do around about another half an hour if they can. They've been in the car for a long time already. Gonzalez a little bit more stamina left than Hirschke. So we'll see how they get on. Obviously if our hand is forced because of the weather, we might have to make a change of driver a bit earlier than we would like. I'm thinking these two might be done at the end of this stint, and then the other 2 drivers we've got left in each car could do 2 stints each if that's how long we've got left. I don't know. It's so difficult to judge. It really is. Right, things going pretty well then. Still 3rd and 4th. Still lapping better than the other Porsche in 5th. Kobayashi's starting to make his way back through the field in that Toyota, through whichever problem he had. Buemi in the number 1 Toyota has just absolutely disappeared. And Hartley in the Porsche is still in touch, to be fair. But we've got a chance at the podium here. It's a long way to go. And we know how much quicker those Porsches and Toyotas are than us. But in terms of our direct competition, it's the Rebellion car of Senna in 6th that is the closest. Of course, 7th is our objective for the weekend. And 4th in the Constructors is our hope. But I think we might be able to challenge for 3rd this season if we can beat Rebellion often enough. Right, so Hiski's now gone out of his fired up zone. So that's the best of him. And of course Gonzalez came out of that zone quite a while ago. So tyres stupidly cold, once again badly managed. Right. Use the boost. That Porsche had just got back past us, so we just used the charge and regained that 4th place. Tyres should do another 15 laps or so if we're lucky, and the rain's going to be here for at least another 40-50 minutes, so we're definitely going to be okay making another stop onto the intermediates. So obviously it gains a lot of time going on to the intermediates very early, but it does mean that we're going to have to stop quite a lot earlier than most of the field. So we'll see how this works out in this sort of tick-tock of stuff. Hopefully the weather will be kind. Low stamina for Hirishki then. I don't really want to bring him in just yet. Now, of course, when they're low stamina, they can still stay out there. They'll just start making mistakes. As long as it's not a race-ending one, we're okay. I'd like him to do another 10 minutes or so, just to get his allocation out of the way. So I think we are going to leave him out there a little bit longer, but we'll keep an eye on him, and as soon as we see him making any major mistakes, then we'll get him back in that lap. Been stuck behind Yanni for 4 laps, have you? Don't worry about it. And Gonzalez getting quite tired now as well. And the pack are starting to catch them back up now then. So I think we'll bring Hirishiki in. We don't really want to risk it. Gravesy's going to be the better driver, is he? I don't know, let's put Vern in the car for now. Let's get him out in this middle stint. Another new set of intermediates. Oh, we've got plenty left, we're okay. We'll brim the tank. Car looking okay, no repairs needed at the moment. And he'll be back on his way, and then we'll bring Gonzalez in the lap afterwards then. So, for a 6-hour race, or 3.5 hours, sorry, this is very close still between everybody. Gonzalez will come in next time around, and we'll put Zollinger in the car. Again, we'll go intermediates, and we'll brim the tank. Hopefully, if it does dry out, this will be enough to get these guys to that dry period. Otherwise, we're going to lose a pit stop. So, is the stop going to be done in time? It should be. Yeah, Vern's on his way then. Good pit stop, no mistakes. And he's back out again then. And now Gonzalez comes in. Zollinger will replace him in the cockpit. Hopefully Gonzalez hasn't left him any presents in the seat, which they generally do in endurance racing. It's very, very common to have a little wee in there before the next driver comes in. Just leave him a present. And back out again. Zollinger just ahead of Vern then. So I guess I'm calling this our number 2 car. So our number 2 car gets back out ahead of our number 1 car and regains that position. So we're already a pit stop ahead of Becci in one of those that's one of the rebellions then, so they're having a shocking race. And now we need to close that gap down ahead of us. If we do need to make up a pit stop, we're going to have to do it on track. But I'm not going to push too hard too early. That being said, we're already overheating these intermediates. So ideal situation now is that it stops raining before the end of our stint, but it stops raining late enough that everybody else has to make their second stop as well, and then we're back on the same strategy as everybody else. That's an ideal world anyway. Right, let's use these boosts. Right, we're approaching the end of hour 1 then. Well, no, an hour and a half has passed even, because it's a 3.5 hour race. Is it 360? 180? No, it's a 3-hour race. So, yeah, approaching the end of hour 1. I think we'll leave it on full speed. I'm pretty happy with full speed, so we'll probably just do 1 race per live stream. And, anyone got any help on the strategy? So, how do you think we're going to play this? And what tyre should we put on then? It's almost certainly is going to dry out. So there'll be around about, what, 95 minutes, 85 minutes left-ish. So that's going to be around about 2 stints. So it should be 2 sets of softs, or a set of softs and a set of mediums. But we'll see once we get there. So That gap ahead is 19 seconds. Too conservative again. These tyres are so sensitive today for some reason. Come on. Get some temperature in those tyres, boys. Right, so that gap ahead is coming down slowly. Just taking another couple of seconds out there. 17.4, 17.2, 17.1. So we're closing that gap. So even if they don't have to pit again, we should be okay. But I think they're fairly confident they are going to have to. Now the question kind of changes to whether we can make it to the dry weather without having to make a stop. It's going to be tough. Hopefully we can do enough. Right. I think the best thing if there's a lot of traffic behind them. Let's use the old boost. Oh, it's that rebellion car has caught up, and the other rebellion car is about to lap us. This isn't great news. Zollinger now just 7 seconds behind Rossiter in the by Collins car then. So we're nearly back into this race already. It's that small group here of Dumas, Gianni and Senna that are really out of reach if we've mucked up the pit stops. But we won't know that until much later in the race. Right, tyres are overheating again, back to neutral. Why do you have to do so much management in this game? Do you think it is a management game? Okay. Right, car's starting to make their second stop now. So at least we're going to be on the same strategy by the looks of it. How well this undercut has worked with all this traffic, I do not know. We're going to find out, as one of the cars in the pit is Dumas, who we were racing. And we're going to come back out ahead with one car, and just ahead with John Verne ahead of the other. So we're back in the race, providing these tyres last until the dry weather in around about half an hour's time. We've already been really overtaken, unfortunately, because we have no tyres left. That's not too great. Yeah, please, buddy, Vern. I don't know what else you were doing out there. I'm just going to get my head down for a few laps. What were you, fucking reading road signs or something, mate? What were you doing, eh? Hey? Okay. Senna pitting now. So this will give us a good idea of where we are. So we were definitely racing Senna. Lotter's come back out just ahead of us in the Porsche. We're going to easily get past Senna with both cars then. So it's just making these tyres last now until the dry weather comes. Evening Ulf, how you doing, my friend? Thank you and welcome along to the stream. Hope you're doing well. This feels very much like our first endurance race in the first look the other day, where everything's going well, but I've got the horrible feeling we're going to end up making one more stop than everybody, in which case we're not doing as well as I thought. So it's still Kobayashi and Yanni to make stops. Kobayashi brings the Toyota onto pit road now then. We might get ahead of Kobayashi, you know. No, we won't. That was wishful thinking. No, we're 6th and 7th. We're in an awful lot of traffic. Let's just try and split these two up a little bit. Well, if you're quicker, Vern, mate, then pass him. You have my permission. We're trying to race Menezes in the Signatech car, though. It's kind of our main priority at the moment. Nico Prost in the Rebellion back in 8th there. One of the best combinations, one of the best things about the Mons this year was seeing that Senna and that Prost name back in Motorsport in the same series. Of course we had both of them in Formula E as well, but in the same team, driving the same car, was quite something to be seen. And they very nearly, if not actually, did manage to get on the podium this year. I think they just missed out, unfortunately. But it's still nice to see them both driving the same car and bringing those family names back to Motorsport. A little tired from my quiet Ute. Yeah, not so bad. It's day after work, so quite tired. But not better than sit down and have a nice endurance race with you guys, eh? What a way to unwind. Like constantly trying to work out strategies, the weather, and just life in general. I like some of the improvements brakes when you develop them. Got tyre durability as one. Yeah, man, it's a nice touch and something that I always found a bit strange, that those kind of things you could only really improve just specifically when you were developing the car in the first place. Having it as a part you can actually put on specifically to deal with that problem is a great idea. Because if you've gone the wrong way with design on a car and it's eating its tyres, there are things you can do during the season to change that, and that's what that thing that you can add to a part now represents. So I do like that that's there. I agree. It's going to be tight. I think we can make it. We just need another sort of 10 minutes out of these guys in these cars with these tyres, and we'll make it to the dry weather. Right, Verne now complaining about his tyres. I mean, John Verne moans about everything. Probably gets up in the morning and moans that the sky is the wrong colour. When it's a beautiful sunny day, oh, I wanted rain today. So I'm not going to listen to him. I was going to do a French accent there, but I remembered that whenever I try and do an accent, it ends up a different one. Nobody wants that. Okay, so we're about where we were when we started off. But I do worry that whether we can make it to the dry tyres. We're nearly there. We might have to run a couple of laps, but as we found out from the first crossover point, it's a much wider zone on these endurance cars. Yeah, I know he's got new tyres. Calm down. Right, so we will. I think we'll change drivers. I think we'll pit Verne this time around, just because the tyres are getting really low now. So we'll put Gravesy in the kart for his main stint. We will put I think I'll put the medium tyres on. We'll just got to try and go as long as we can and see if we can get him to a point where he only has to do, the car only has to do one more stop. Condition of the car looking okay, and he'll be on his way again, and then we'll bring in Zollinger the lap after that. So hopefully we have a good stop. You know what, I think Zollinger can do one more lap. I think we're going to have him do one more lap. No mistakes, good pit stop from Gravesy, and he's back out then. Just ahead of Zollinger. Zollinger, we will switch to Trummer. I'm trying to work it out. I think two stints on the soft tyres will be all we need. Let's go for it. Let's go soft tyres. Max out the fuel, and then we'll have a good idea of how far the soft tyres will go. I hope to only make one more stop after this and switch back to the other driver that's, well, switch back to Zollinger and Verne for the final stint will be the plan. I would like the possibility to design my car when I create my team, not have to wait for a whole season for that. Yeah, it just needs a little checkbox to allow you to do it, doesn't it, really? It gives you a starting budget or something. Would be good. Right, Trummer's in the car and back out then. He's going to get out nicely ahead of Graves. I don't know what that event was all of a sudden there from Graves. Is the car okay? Yeah. Don't know why he's moaning then, really. Just keeping on those tyre temps. So once again, with the first two cars to make the change onto dry tyres. At the moment, we're a little bit slower. But as long as we get one lap where the dry tyres are the tyre to be on, we should be okay. Right, we'll go back to conserve on those softs because they're overheating pretty badly. And we'll let them settle down into their sits again. I'm fairly confident we can get 5th and 6th here. That's the aim, and that would be a great result as well. We just want to be better than the rest behind Porsche and Toyota. That's all we can do for now. And to be fair, we shouldn't really be beating Rebellion. They have a better car, so if we beat them today, we've done it on strategy. So that will please me as well if we can beat those two. There's Graves here. Stuck behind traffic again. There we go. That gets him passed and released. Let's go back to neutral on the tyres with Trummer. Hour and 20 minutes to go. Right, Prost and Tandy in, as well as Negreo. So will we get out ahead as the early stop worked? We get out in 7th, just behind Bahard. And Graves gets out right behind Canal. See if we can just use that little bit of boost to get him past early doors. And oh, it's wheel to wheel. Still wheel to wheel. And he can't make the move stick then. We'll have to settle for 9th. Everybody else has actually stopped, surprisingly. So I think we just went in a little early. I think that's what's happened there. We have lost a little bit of ground. We can see, to be fair, 5th and 6th are well up the road. We've lost a lot of time during that stop. Bonami, Webb and Pico Jr. all having issues. So yeah, we've just completely taken ourselves out of the race there for some reason. We've lost about 10 seconds on where we were. I'm guessing we just stopped too early. I didn't really have any choice in the matter, unfortunately. But hey ho. Has Trummer at least kept catching them? We'll see once that charge is gone. 11.2. 11.0. He's on the quicker tyres. 10.9. 11.6. 11.7. No, he's actually losing time to 6th. That's a shame. That's a great shame. I don't think we had a mistake in the pit stops. I think it was just purely stopping too early. That's killed our race a little bit. So we want to get our number 1 car past Canal, if we can, before the end of the race, and 7th and 8th I'll be happy with. That's the 4th quickest team, which is what we're aiming for anyway. And a little bit of boost there was enough to get Graves past. He's all fired up now, the veteran, and he's on his way. Trummel's falling a long way behind. Car seems okay. Maybe the parts have just worn a bit quicker than everybody else's. He is eating through these soft tyres as well. He needs to do another 20-30 minutes at least on these tyres. I'm not sure he's going to. He's done 14 laps on them so far, so maybe he will. Still a long way to go. Still 1/3 of the race. The 65 minutes left is longer than most races in the normal Motorsport Manager game. So there's a lot that can happen yet. Let's just settle down, let them do their jobs. This traffic really isn't helping. I think this is what I should be using the boost for. Just managing them through traffic. But when it's going at full speed, it's very difficult to do. But Graves has caught right up then. So it's Trummer that's struggling. And Graves is actually now passed. Up into 7th. So we'll see if Graves starts to catch those ahead. But the damage has already been done. We're now 17 seconds off them. Unless we somehow steal a free pit stop somewhere. Which is unlikely. And now Trummer's passed them because of the traffic. Of course, no blue flags in this, so we have to overtake the slower cars on merit. Have you tried the 2004 mod yet? There is a naming I like. Team name, engine name, and sponsor name. I haven't tried it yet. Like McLaren, BMW, Red Bull. Sadly, it doesn't follow the naming rule when you change engine and top sponsor. An immersive edition I would like implemented. Like McLaren, Red Bull. Sadly, it doesn't follow that naming rule when you change engine. Oh, I see what you mean. Yeah. The old mods, the old F1 games, management games used to do that. So if you were running, say you were a Haas Ferrari and you decided to switch to Honda engines the next year, you would become Haas Honda. Haas Honda? Haas Honda! March Honda with Haas Honda. It kind of rolls off the tongue, that, doesn't it? That's a bit of a shame. I haven't tried 2004 yet. I do like the look of it. I have seen they got some good models there, and that's an era of F1 that I feel a bit more connected to in terms of the drivers and everything. We've actually got a pit stop up ahead for Bamber. It's a bit early to make a one stop. To make that to the end, well, I mean. So we might be back in this yet if we can make just one more stop between now and the end. And Graves has actually just passed Canal then. So we're back up to 5th and 6th. So Graves, I'm pretty certain we can get to the end of the race on just one more stop. We'll have to change drivers in between. Trummer's the problem. And what's even bigger of a problem is time left. So Trummer's actually the one with the least time in the car. So which of these two drivers are we going to put in? Gonzalez would be the favourite, but he's got less time available. Zollinger has got 28 minutes. This is the problem we had last time. We need Trummer to get down to about half an hour, but there's no way he's going to do that on those tyres. He's got plenty of stamina left. I think we're going to have to bring him in again. This is exactly what happened last time. This is my fault. The mod got all today's top driver as rookies along with senior guys. Oh, that's cool. Okay. A lot of drivers you can bring through to there. So I presume it has people like Vettel and Hamilton as the youngsters coming through the ranks. That's cool. I might give that a go at some point. Obviously, just started 2 new series with this mod, but I'll maybe have a go on it in my spare time if I can. I'm gonna have to pit Trummer. It pains me to say so, but we are. So I'm gonna put Zollinger on the car, sorry, on super soft tyres, and he's just gonna go for it. Let's not add any fuel. He's just gonna do 20 laps flat out if he can. Rear wing looking a little bit dodgy. I don't really want to repair it just yet. It's going to be a relatively short pit stop. It's changing drivers and tyres. I think this is the problem. I need to put mediums on for this, the last 2 stints. That's where I'm mucking up. It's a shame because Trummer's going to drop right out of that good 5th position. Hopefully he can make some ground up on those super softs. No mistakes, good pit stop, and he's on his way again. Good, good. Right, see what kind of pace he's got. He's still in a good 8th place. So we're still bang on target. But he's got 31 seconds ahead to close down. See what he can do. On the other side of the garage, so it's going to be Vern, I think. Vern is going to have 29 minutes he can do in the car. Oh, again, this is tough. I don't think Greaves can go far enough either. How many laps has he done already? He's already done 31. Can he do another 20 on these tyres? Can you boost a bit? Boost what? What, my volume? I can do. If that is what you mean. Right, Zollinger. He's not really closing ahead like I hope he would. He played 1,500 hours in Motorsport Manager. Christ alive. You must love this game. It is great. I don't blame you at all. Oh, boast instead of boost. Absolutely. Yeah, of course, man. It's I'm all for people enjoying this game. I can't even imagine how many hours I lost to Grand Prix World and F1 Manager over the years, because they were the only decent games for like a decade. So I've got to have played close to that on them over that time. So yeah. The only reason I haven't played, I think I've played about 150 on this so far. The only reason I haven't played more is just there's so many other games at the moment nowadays. Back then, you picked a game and you stuck to it. GP World, GP2. I was a little too young for GP2. I played GP World and I played F1 Manager endlessly. Back then, F1 Manager was like cutting edge 3D graphics for a management game. So I did kind of prefer that to Grand Prix World. But Grand Prix World was definitely the better simulator. Alright, Gravesy's running low on stamina. He just needs 10 more minutes. Driving time for Zollinger. He's got ages. You didn't need to tell me that. Enough fuel to attack a bit. No, there's not, mate. I'll tell you when there's fuel to attack. Right, so we're just going to leave Graves out, basically. Oh, Lopez out. Maria Lopez has crashed out in the Toyota. That's an extra position for us all. And that's the first retirement from LMP1 in this race. And one tyres, Graves. Yeah, I'm just going to let him go, game. Okay, he's got to do like 8 minutes for me. Just understand. Yeah, unlike the first time we played this, there are actually cars like 3 laps down now, which is a lot more endurance racing. It's a lot more what I would expect. I know you beat, mate, just don't stuff it in a wall and stay out there, okay? This is endurance racing. Sometimes you're going to have to endure, pardon the pun. Right. Let's get these final stops dealt with, then I'll get back to the comments in a minute. Solinger can probably go a bit further. Who are we putting in the car? It's going to be... We could put Trommer back in. Gonzalez is going to have 22 minutes available. We'll see if Solinger can make it to 22 minutes. He should be able to. No, he's only got 13 minutes in the car. No, that'll be fine. That should work. And then we'll put Gonzalez in with around about 20 minutes left. With very little fuel and super soft tyres, he can just go for a blast and see if he can make up some positions. So Graves needs to get another 5 minutes out of this car if he can. Driving time 54 minutes. He's fine. Stop telling me this. I even got a girlfriend, loved GP World, and she requested to keep it after we broke up. Hope you damn right refused. Ain't not giving away no GP World. Or you had it copied. That'd be alright. Hey, they're so addictive games, and that's why I'm so glad there's a proper Motorsport Manager game back now. I just wish they could get the proper license. That's the only thing that's missing from those days. But I guess with a mod like this, it doesn't really matter. Right, we've got a problem with Solinger's car, rear wing. We might have to repair that in the final stint. Right, Graves just needs a couple more laps. Come on, mate. You've done the stint of your life here. You've been in the car for 57 minutes. Which, to be honest, isn't that long in endurance racing. They're normally in for a couple of hours, but I guess this is scaled up. If we say this 6-hour race is effectively the equivalent, this 3-hour race is effectively a 12-hour, then it probably makes more timed sense. Right, let's check I've got the maths right. So Vern, right, let's say 44, 6, 28 minutes 50. We're at 28 minutes 50. He should be. I'm gonna have Graves do one more lap just to be sure. Solinger will need to come in the lap after as well. He's going very slow. I was going to slow down. Right, Graves past the pit then. Vern will go into the kart. He'll have a brand new set of super softs. Really, 17 to 19 laps. I might put a set of softs on just to be sure then. 28 minutes left is going to be around about 22, 23 laps. I'll put 23 in to be sure. Car should be okay to the finish, and you can go back out. Graves, your guard is up. Your mammoth stint, O veteran of the Manor team. You may now have a tea from the holy kettle. Alright, hopefully the mechanics will do okay. Solinger goes past, and he'll pit on this lap. And no, he won't. I think we're going to have to put Trommer in the car. Purely because the tyres are getting really low. And I don't want Gonzalez to go for another 5 minutes. So we'll go with Trommer. We'll go with... I think we'll go super softs as well, just to be sure. And again, we'll go with about 22 laps on this car. And we're going to have to fix that rear wing, unfortunately. And I'll risk it on the suspension. We should be okay. So, looks like a good stop for car number 1. Refueling done. Underway, no mistakes. That's what we like to see. And Vern is going to come back out in 5th place. Lovely job. Solingen might even get back out in 5th. Oh, about tyre graining, you see any difference in extra wear and tear on very low or very high tyre temps? Yes, yeah, I was running pretty low earlier in the race and it seemed to be destroying them a little bit quicker. I've got much more of a handle on it now. It's difficult to compare because we had wet and dry conditions. I think I'm getting more out of the tyres now than I was earlier by managing them better. But I just think you have more of a tolerance in endurance. Like the crossover between dry and wet tyres is easier, has a wider margin for error. So does the sort of mistakes you make through the drivers or from getting the tyre temps wrong. I think it doesn't wear it quite as heavily because the tyres are obviously built to go a long way. Trummer's come back out in 6th, which is a cracking result. Gromit. Oh, Trummer's now got a problem with his suspension though. We may have mucked up by not doing some repairs on the car. It's going to be squeaky bum time to get these guys to the finish. Hopefully they'll do it. There's not much I can do now really, we just got to leave him out there. Vern's got a big gap. Well, he's only got 16-second gap actually, back to Regis. Trummer is 8 seconds behind Regis. I'm sorry if any of these names are from your country of origin. I'm brutally murdering them. And has a 34 seconds gap behind to Lotterer. So we're going to beat a Porsche. At the moment, we are going to beat a Porsche. I must say, I think it's the same as before, even so it's announced for the latest update. And driver smoothness, don't forget, our most important trait when looking for a new pilot. Yep, yeah, it's important. I think all those things influence it. I just think because the tyres last for so much longer and everything is built for distance, you have that little bit, you have a small margin for error. If you accidentally miss the tyre temp on single seater and you leave it for a couple of laps, you can destroy a set of tyres. In this, you can go a couple of laps up or down in the temp. It doesn't take enough out to destroy the tyre. It just takes a few laps off the stint. I think that's the difference from what I've seen anyway. Alright, suspension looking okay. 16 minutes left to take home 4th and 6th place in the opening outing. Who is winning? Got Tandy in the Porsche. Vern, he's got plenty of time. Christ, stop telling me that. Menzes is in the Signatech. He's done a great job in the 2nd. Does he have to stop again though? And Davidson in the Toyota in 3rd then, taking that car to the finish. So Regis has just pitted. So we are now up to 4th and 5th, and if we can get these cars over the line without any more stops. Yanni's actually pitted now and come back out just a second ahead of Vern. Don't think Vern can catch him though. Yanni's come back out on super softs. Menzenzes, that's a word, just go with me, has pitted as well. Just going to push to try and get this tyre temp back up. And Vern has actually got past him. So he's 2 seconds ahead. So he's got 11 minutes to hold on to a podium here for car number 1. We've got a lot of fuel. Engine's okay to be fair. I don't mind going high fuel mode on the engine. just the suspension that looks a bit dodgy. Actually, engine's not good on car number 2. We'll go back to medium there. I just recently changed to realistic setting, didn't know it was an issue, so from now on it might be a different cup of tea. Okay, yeah, I think I've still got that set to realistic. Oh, Trummer, I can't do anything, mate. You're just going to have to get over the line and just believe that that car will finish. I'll take a look for you quickly. No, I'm on normal as well. I haven't actually tried realistic since they released it as a patch, and I did a video on it. I should go to that really, but I find this game hard enough when I'm commentating on it, to be honest. Right, Trummer's just gone ahead of Real then. So we're up to 3rd and 4th now. Just need these cars to not fall apart in the last few laps. Come on, boys. 3rd and 4th would be the most incredible result in the first race. I really didn't think we were going to be beating 2 Porsches, a Porsche and a Toyota in the opening race. But then anything can happen in endurance racing, that's the point. Get the strategy right, keep the car in one piece, and you might just surprise everybody. Oh, I'm waiting for one of these pauses to be a car going bang. Oh shit, we're pushing. One idiot. Don't push. We're so far ahead. Just... oh, conserve. Just take it easy, boys. Stroke those cars home. Whisper to them. Promise them the world if they get home. If one of these goes bang, 4 minutes to go on a 3-hour race, I'm not going to be happy. How are we looking on Trummer's car? 9% on the suspension. That's plenty. That's like your normal road cars kind of level of suspension, no? Yeah, don't worry about that times, John Eric. You're fine. Boost, boost. I don't know why. We're well ahead in 3rd and 4th. It's all about reliability. One minute to go, and I'm going to go back to normal speed for the end of this opening race then. Final minute. So Davidson will get round for another lap in the Toyota, so we've got one more lap to do. Fortunately, Trummer is right behind Davidson, so he will cross the line in just under a lap's time. Werner's got to do a lap and a half. What do you think? Maybe a 24-hour race is hiding in the single race setting. Maybe a Dev Christmas gift. I'd like to think it would, or that it would be moddable if not, but I've got a feeling it's not. For the most people it just wouldn't be feasible, but I would love to do a 24-hour race. I just think they should slip it in as one race a season, make it a 24-hour race, like Le Mans. Do a Le Mans type race as part of the championship. Trummer comes home in 4th, by the way. Holds on to that suspension. That's a cracking result from him. And Jean-Eric has just got 3 or 4 more corners to go to take an historic penalty. Penalty? I hope not. Historic podium for the Manor Racing team. He's going to cross the line in 3rd. I'm happy with that. That's a great result. Feel like we managed that race a lot better than the opening race of that we did last time in the first look. Anthony Davidson takes the win for Toyota at Silverstone. Essentially Silverstone. They call it Guildford. It's Silverstone. Agree. Yeah, double point event, 24 hours. That'd be great. Thanks, guys. Thanks, Greg. Thanks, Ulf. It's a good result. I'm happy with that. And Jean-Eric made one less stop then. God, look at those laps. 135 laps done. And we made it to the finish. Position tracker is... I mean, just look at it all. You've got to be seriously anal to look for all this stuff in the normal race, let alone this. Pit stops were fairly good. So we had the 3rd, 7th and 8th quickest stops. 31 seconds was the quickest. 34, 34, and then it depends on whether we put fuel and stuff in. But I don't think we made too many mistakes, if any. So that was a pretty good from that point of view. No, I think the first time I played Motorsport Manager, I looked through those screens. And was like, I'm gonna analyze the shit out of this every single race I do. One race later, I don't need any of this. Next. So there we are, 3rd and 4th behind Davidson, Nakajima and Buemi in the Toyota, and Yanni Bernhard and Tandy in the Porsche. The number 2 Porsche, Lotterer, Hartley and Bamber actually coming home in 5th. So we beat a Porsche on merit. And the other Toyota retired from the race. The pole position car of Conway Kobayashi and Maria Lopez out of that race then. So 3 retirees, 2 LMP2 cars and 1 LMP1 car. So that's going to put us in pretty good stead for the championship. We get an opening podium, 475 miles. Blimey. And this mess of a Drivers' Championship screen means that we're 3rd and 4th in the championship. And means we're actually 3rd in the Constructors then. This is the one we're going to be concentrating on this season. Only a point behind Porsche and level on points with Toyota. And in our race to beat Sigma Tech, Mike Collins and Rebellion, that's as good a start as I could hope for. Softs looked like they were more useful than I thought. Yeah, I think you meant the Super Softs though, which I would agree with you. Super Softs were pretty useless. They were good to fill in a little stint. Softs were the good race tyre. Mediums were good as well. I think our veteran, whatever his name was, I can't remember his name now, did almost an hour on them, nearly 50 laps. So mediums are good if you want to settle down and just have one driver do one stint. Super Softs, Graves, that was the name. Super Softs are good if you need to bridge a gap. But I think Softs are probably generally going to be the best race tyre. So small improvements. Graves obviously isn't going to improve too much because he's nearing the end of his career. Vern should have a lot of potential still and should grow in the endurance class. And Hiroshiki grows a small bit. So I do want to get some young blood in this team at some point. Endurance racing is generally an old man, not an old man, but it's a experienced racer sport. But all these guys are pretty experienced. I'd like to get some young blood that can improve along the way. Get some real talent in here. But some nice money in the bank then. 3.1 million is now our budget. So we made about 2.7 million along with sponsor objectives in that one. And that gives us plenty to spend on the car next time out then. As I said, this series is going to be done as a live stream then. Sometimes when I've got more time or if a weekend, maybe I'll do 2 in a row. But I feel around about 2 hours for all the car stuff and then one full endurance race is a good sort of length of episode. And means I don't get too tired with it and doesn't drag on too much. Gives you a sort of bite-sized episodes to watch if you miss it live as well. So I think we're going to end that there for today. A great first result, 3rd and 4th for our 2 drivers. Wasn't expecting that. I think that 3rd spot in the championship is what we're aiming for. I don't think we can race Toyota and Porsche long term until next year. Cover the pit crew, sure. So pit crew are okay. I brought in I think Walls and who was the other one I brought in? I think it was Bian I brought in. So I brought in 2 new pit crew. We haven't got too many. To be honest, I feel like stamina is important. Mistake chance has to be 0 at this level. And then you're just going for higher numbers. Apart from jobs where you have to do 2, you just want to keep going for higher numbers, as far as I'm aware. But our team's fairly good. Nobody made a mistake in the opening race. And our pit times are fairly good. I will slowly try to improve. I think I just want to get the like that refueling's a bit low for my liking. That fixing. I'd like to get everything up to around 15, 16. You have margin for error in endurance, though if they made mistake after mistake in a race, it is not good. If they made, that's going to be the rule. If they make a mistake 2 weekends in a row, they're fired instantly. Don't care who they are or how random it is. I am not going to be kind to my pit crew. They're rolling contracts, they can be out the door just as quick. But yeah, endurance, it probably doesn't matter too much. Something like the Formula 1 mod we're doing, the pit crew make a mistake, like I had in the Haas career actually. They made 1 mistake and it effectively doubled the time in the pits. Because a normal pit stop was 3 seconds, they made a 3-second mistake. So, yeah. I think you're right, endurance, because you have such a long time changing the driver, those 30 seconds, you know, eat up mistakes within it, I think. But we got a new sponsor before we go. It's still just 1 offer for slot 6, so we'll wait for more next time. Right, you guys want to chat about anything else before we end the stream? It's been fun. I've been asking for endurance for so long. I'm really happy it's here now. They're long old races, but that is kind of the point. But I just love the layers of strategy to it. It's great fun. Keeps you thinking. You want to know if their health will plummet if they make a mistake in endurance like the other series. Not that you can answer that. Their health, what, like mental health, or literally their stamina? I haven't actually had. I've had one make a mistake in the Haas career. That's the only mistake I've had since that update came out, and I haven't actually gone and checked the pit crew afterwards. Stamina. I don't know. It seems like it would be kind of a double-edged sword if they lost stamina as well, but I hope not. Yeah, do watch it if you want to watch more of. That would be appreciated. Obviously, there'll be a bit shorter episodes than this. Sort of kicking off the new season. The single-seater playthrough is just going. It's just slowly eating away. I'll get there by about the end of 2018. But these two, I've been wanting to play these mods for ages. And I think with the Endurance DLC and the F1 mod, it's the perfect time to do it. So do go and check that out if you haven't already. It's appreciated. Hope you enjoy it. And after the race, their stamina is around 50%. No, they've lost a little bit. They haven't lost too much. About 5. Yeah, about 5, between 5 and 10%. So it's not too, oh, if they made a mistake, I don't know. What have they used stamina? I don't understand. That would be very strange if they lost it. They are trained and stamina is around 50%. Strained, you probably mean. Okay, I guess it's like a mental effect, isn't it, of making a mistake? It increases the stress, which then probably makes you tire quicker. That makes sense. It's just going to make me easier to fire them, really. And the next DLC, Go-Kart DLC. That'd be quite cool. Take it from grassroots all the way up. I'd like a DLC that sort of interlinks all the championships better. Or maybe allows you to play different... a couple of teams at the same time. Rallying, I guess, would be kind of fun, but it's too different. GT was supposed to be touring cars, I guess. NASCAR? NASCAR would be quite fun. Proper oval racing. If they could increase the field size to 50. Hey, Greg Bowes, perfect. Junior team as well. Junior team would be quite cool, yes. You could bring drivers through the junior team. That's a nice thought. There's a lot they could still do with this. I don't know whether they're done yet. Every time I think they're done, they bring out a new one out of nowhere. So we'll see. I think NASCAR or junior teams would be quite cool. I feel like NASCAR major DLC, and then the free update links everything together. That would be good. Get onto them. Get onto PlaySport. They listened to me last time, eventually. So maybe they will this time. Maybe they're listening now. They'd have to be doing it pretty secretively, though, because there's only the 3 of you guys watching. NASCAR mod is coming in some time. Okay, that's good to know. Is it going to increase the number of cars, though? So I did see these guys were working on a NASCAR mod. But surely it's got to replace one of the existing series. Because that's what I liked about this DLC, was that it effectively brings in... Because the Ice mod had the LMP1 cars replacing the GT cars, but you didn't have GT at the same time, so I'd like it to add it as a completely separate discipline. But if there's a mod in the meantime, that would be cool. I think that's the only realistic, maybe go-karts you say as well would be. Oh, you're the guy that did Fire and did the Ace mod. Oh, appreciated. I love your mod, man. NASCAR will replace GT with 24 cars on track. Is that going to be both? Is that going to be built into the main mod, or is it going to be a separate one? And is it going to actually mix it in, as though you'll have GT cars and NASCAR in the 2 GT series, or? I appreciate that you stumbled upon it. I enjoy playing the mods, man. It's, as the game can't get proper licensing, it's the best way to do it. I'm sure that's why you did the mods in the first place. It's a lot of skill and time that goes into it. So congratulations on getting the endurance update out as well. Separate mod will be cool days. Okay, that's cool to know. If you get close to release or know about it and you fancy someone playing it, let me know, and I could do another stream on it. I probably will anyway, so there's no real need, but I'd be more than happy to play some of that on stream. NASCAR would be fun. I guess you're limited by 24 cars. I guess there's only so much you can mod on the game itself, but 24 cars will do. Sure, before Christmas we are working on it 24/7. We'll post it everywhere. Good. I look forward to seeing it. Keep up the good work anyway. It's keeping this game alive. Well, it's keeping the game alive is a bit strong, but it's, you know, it's adding an element that the developers, I'm sure they wish they could put real drivers and teams and stuff in, but you're doing that job for them. So you're doing a great job with that. It's appreciated. 8 days a week. Working that midnight oil. Hey, when you work into the night, it feels like 24 hours, even if it's just 6. Okay, well, I'm going to wrap that up there. Cheers for popping in, Kristin. Glad you stumbled across, and you've got a true Motorsport Manager fan here who's a big fan of your mods, so keep it up. And to the rest of you, thank you as always for tuning in. There will be, I think there'll be an F1 career mode up this week. Another just basic Motorsport Manager episode on the single seater. We'll of course have the live stream of the next league race from the ORL season on Sunday at 7:30. That's going to be, where are we going? Silverstone. So tune in for that. Hopefully we can make a recovery after Monaco. Apart from that, I think I might try and edit and get a Destiny video up. Me and Rage have been playing a lot of that. I don't know if it'll do too well on the channel, but I might get that up at some point. But other than that, this will be at the same time next week. There'll be a new Haas episode. I want to say by the end of the week, but it'll probably be early next week, knowing me. So for this, tune in same time next Wednesday. I'm going to try and start again around about 6:30, 7 English time. Can tracks names be modded? That's a good question. As I guess as they are already modelled on tracks, but I guess we kind of know which tracks they mean. Not properly, not that workshop. Okay, it's a shame, but I guess as they made the track so similar, it doesn't matter too much. Yeah, I think that's enough rambling. That's enough talking. I hope you guys did enjoy this episode and you're going to enjoy this Let's Play going forward. And, you know, as always, I really appreciate you guys watching. And until next time, I will see you again very soon.